Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into the past, into the spiritual worlds of three of pre-Columbian America's most incredible civilizations. We're going to look at the Inca, the Maya, and the Aztec, and see how their powerful beliefs were literally the blueprint for their entire world, from their day-to-day lives to the stunning monuments they left behind.
You know, when you see a picture of Machu Picchu or the pyramids of Tikal, it's easy to just be amazed by the engineering. But these weren't just buildings, they were belief systems carved in stone. So that's the big question we're tackling today. How did these ancient peoples actually see reality? What was their place in the cosmos?
So first up, we'll head to the Andes to look at the Inca, this massive empire that hugged the mountains. For them, everything, and I mean everything, came down to balance and a really deep personal connection to the natural world around them.
Then we'll journey over to the Maya. You've probably heard about their amazing writing and astronomy. Well, for the Maya, time was an obsession, but they saw it completely differently than we do. It wasn't a straight line. It was a giant cosmic wheel, always turning, and they were the timekeepers.
And finally, we'll explore the Aztec, an empire whose spiritual beliefs led them to a practice that, let's be honest, is one of the most controversial in all of history. We're going to get into the why behind it, the cosmic reasoning for their mission to literally keep the universe from falling apart. So, let's get into it. All right, so let's dive right in with our first empire, the Inca, or Tawantinsuyu, as they called their domain. And you have to understand, this wasn't just an empire built on military might. At its very core was this incredible philosophical idea that connected every single person to the land, to each other, and to the gods.
And that idea is summed up in one word: Ayni. This wasn't just a nice thought or a friendly suggestion. This was the fundamental law of how the universe worked. It meant that everything was about mutual exchange. You give something, you get something back. You help your neighbor helps you. You honor the earth, and the earth provides for you. This one single concept was the engine for their entire world.
And this idea of reciprocity was perfectly mirrored in their gods, who weren't these distant, abstract figures. They were literally woven into the fabric of nature. The gods were the world. Inti, the sun god, wasn't just some deity. He was the divine ancestor of the emperor. Pachamama wasn't a symbol of the earth. She was the earth mother they farmed. This made their relationship with the environment incredibly intimate and sacred.
So how did they actually map out this reality? Well, the Inca pictured the cosmos in three layers, all connected. You had Hanan Pacha, the upper world of the gods. Then there was Pacha, our world, right here in the middle. And below was Ukhu Pacha, the underworld. But get this, it wasn't a hell. It was a source of wisdom, the home of their ancestors. And these worlds weren't sealed off. They touched and connected at sacred spots in the landscape called huacas. And here's the amazing part. Ayni wasn't just some abstract philosophy. It was state policy. The Mita system was basically Ayni on a societal scale. Every citizen owed labor to the state. That's how they built those incredible roads and cities. But in return, the state used its vast storehouses to make sure that nobody, not a single person, would ever starve. It was cosmic balance applied as social welfare. Okay, so from the mountains, let's head to the jungles where another civilization built its reality on harmony with the stars.
Now we're in the jungles of Mesoamerica, home of the Maya. And if the Inca were the masters of sacred space and reciprocity, the Maya were the absolute masters of cosmic time. For them, time was everything. Their entire brilliant civilization was built around the quest to understand it, track it, and predict its movements.
And right away, this is a huge mental shift for us. To the Maya, history wasn't a line going from A to B. It was a series of massive, interlocking wheels, great cosmic cycles of creation, destruction, and rebirth. But here's the crucial part. They didn't believe they were just passive observers. They believed that human rituals, if performed at exactly the right time, could actually influence the cosmos and keep things turning in their favor. And to keep track of these all-important cosmic moments, they developed one of the most sophisticated timekeeping systems in history. They actually used two main calendars that meshed together like cosmic gears. You had the 260-day Tzolk'in, which was their sacred calendar for divination and major events. Then you had the 365-day Ha'ab, which was the solar calendar for things like farming. Where those two calendars lined up determined the rhythm of Mayan life. So what was at the very heart of their creation, of their reason for being? Maize. Seriously, corn. In their creation myths, the gods made humanity from maize dough. Just think about that. Corn wasn't just food, it was the literal substance of human beings. This meant that farming wasn't just work, it was a sacred act. By growing corn, they were taking part in the great cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
For our final stop, we traveled to the Valley of Mexico, to the powerful Aztec Empire. And here we find a worldview that is incredibly profound, but also, through our modern lens, deeply challenging. A worldview centered on the absolute, undeniable necessity of sacrifice.
This is the one question that has really defined the Aztecs for centuries, right? It just seems so brutal. But to even begin to understand it, we have to try just for a moment to set aside our own beliefs and see the universe the way they did. Because for them, what they were doing wasn't cruel. It was a desperate, urgent, and sacred duty. And this right here is the key to it all. The Aztecs believed the universe had already been created and destroyed 4 times. They were living under the 5th sun, and this world was fragile, it was temporary, and it was in constant danger of a violent, catastrophic end. Their entire state religion was basically an emergency plan to stop that apocalypse from happening.
You see, their gods weren't, all-powerful and self-sufficient. They were immensely powerful, sure, but they were also mortal in a way. They needed to be fed to stay strong, especially Huitzilopochtli, their sun god. Every single night he had to fight the forces of darkness. To have the strength to win that battle and rise again in the morning, he needed the most precious, potent energy source imaginable: human life, human blood.
This completely reframes the whole picture. From the Aztec point of view, sacrifice wasn't murder. It was the ultimate act of giving back. It was a debt payment. The gods had sacrificed themselves to create this world, and now humanity had to repay that debt to keep it going. It was a terrifying but absolutely necessary burden to make sure the sun kept rising, the rain kept falling, and the world itself didn't end.
So, we've looked at 3 completely different, unbelievably sophisticated ways of making sense of the universe. Now let's just pull it all together and see the incredible legacies these worldviews left behind. So, let's just recap our journey. We have the Inca, driven by that core belief in Ayni, in reciprocity, who gave us stunning sites like Machu Picchu, literally built in perfect harmony with the sacred mountains. Then the Maya, obsessed with cyclical time, left us their incredible hieroglyphs and cities like Tikal, aligned to the stars. And the Aztec, tasked with that heavy burden of maintaining cosmic order, built their magnificent capital, Tenochtitlan, as the sacred center of the universe. What's so amazing about all this is that none of these were just a religion in the way we think of it. Each one was a complete operating system for their entire society. The Inca answered the question, how should we live together, with reciprocity. The Maya answered, what is our place in the cosmos, by becoming masters of time. And the Aztecs answered, how do we keep the world from ending, with a profound sense of cosmic duty. And that really leaves us with one final thought. These worldviews can feel so alien to us now, but they were grappling with the same big questions we still face. They knew deep down that humanity is tangled up with the world around us, whether that's nature or time or a sense of purpose bigger than ourselves. So it makes you wonder, what can we learn from their focus on reciprocity, their deep respect for cycles, and even their profound sense of obligation? That's definitely something we're thinking about. Thanks so much for exploring this with us.